What's up, my Essential Units? It's Essential Man here. So this is my review of Monday Night Raw for the 23rd of June, 1997. This show was in Detroit, Michigan, at Cobo Hall. Bit of a wrestling trivia. Cobo Hall was staged a wrestling match. It was Hulk Hogan versus the Giant in WCW. It was a monster truck sumo match at Halloween Havoc 1995. Anyway, so this show was a bit better than the previous episode of Monday Night Raw, because I think that Raw was a bit filler. This was a bit better, but I didn't say this was a must-see episode. It was fine for what it is, but wasn't terrible, but at the same time wasn't fantastic. It was basically a thumb in the middle of an episode of Monday Night Raw. So anyway, so the show kicked off with with the new Nation of Domination. That is Farouk, D'Lo Brown, Carmen Mustafa, the future Godfather, and Ahmed Johnson, who turned on the Undertaker in the main event of last week's Raw. So you had Vince interviewing Ahmed Johnson, why he turned his back to join the Nation of Domination, the same group he's been feuding for a year. And Ahmed Johnson says, he basically says, I try my butt off, please these people to get my title shot. You tell the fans, like, you don't got my back. These people got my back. Did you got my back? He called Vince white man or white boy. I was about to get my title shot. You weren't able to get your title shot. I think he says, like, was got my title shot. And also he said, like, why? Because I'm black. He said, like, I had respect of the, I don't have any respect of the Undertaker. He called the Undertaker your precious superhero. Yeah, he said, and he said, like, I don't have any respect of him. He says, if the man talks to another man, that man is a low down slave dog. Fuck. And also the reference, Martin Luther King. I get they're trying to go with the racist card. Yeah, play the race card. It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta be careful what you do in it. You don't want to piss off a lot of people. But he had Martin. Yeah, Ahmed Johnson brought up Martin Luther King. He tried to be nice. He got shot. Farouk's comparing this group to combine Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. It says, today's threat has been dominated by, was it baddest, toughest black man. And I'm trying to keep it, I'm going to talk about briefly, otherwise it's going to be a long review. Trying to keep my review about 25 to 30 minute minimum. Anyway, so, and Karma says, I manhandled the Undertaker. Ahmed Johnson has a right to take down the Undertaker, and said we're the champions. And also, Ahmed Johnson kind of friendly Undertaker says, if you put your hands on me, you won't be dead enough. Remember the tattoo? You're about to see it. And and then D'Lo Brown says, we're gonna rule the WWF or the World Wrestling Federation. It's short for that's how I say WWF. But he said, like, we're gonna rule the World Wrestling Federation. As necessary. Was it no mean? I think it's called No Mean Necessary. I'm trying to remember the promo that well. Anyway, so, and then we got Crush's group, DOA folks, faction warfare folks. We got the Hart Foundation, the New Nation of Domination. You got the Truth Commission, and now you got this group, DOA. That faction warfare expired what AEW's doing right now. Faction warfare folks. And DOA, you got the future Harris twins, I think they were the former Beverly Brothers. I think they were called Skull and 8 Ball? You had Crush. Basically, Government Farouk says, I never heard a lot of crap. You didn't fire me, I quit. I introduced my real brothers. We are the Disciple of Apocalypse. And they end up like, the DOA end up being the Nation of Domination, and here's the trivia, and here's Ahmed Johnson. I'm gonna talk about. He got hurt he got injured. He said later on in the show, he said he got injured his knee, and this is the true reason why Ahmed Johnson never got pushed. He's injury prone. But yeah, it's good to see DOA. That group was crap. Yeah, people crap on the Aces and Eights faction in TNA. I think it was a bit better than this. The people. Yeah, people say Aces and Eights are the first was a motorcycle gang faction. Nope, this group DOA, the Disciple of Apocalypse. Jesus Christ. So moving on to the first match of this episode of Monday Night Raw. We got Ken Shamrock taking on Rockabilly. Rockabilly is Billy Gunn, by the way, with the honky tonk man in his corner. We got the WWF debut of Dan Severn. Dan Severn fight Ken Shamrock in the UFC. Back then, the UFC, it's not big right now. It's not in, right now it's in the big, it's, basically global and mainstream and popular right now. Back then, it was still a puppy, still small. It's like, back then the WWF was big, UFC was small. Then, the roles are reversed. UFC is more popular than the WWE. And WWE is starting to, I know Vince is retired. Rumors are going back to TV14. Don't want to get into that. I might do a video on it in the future. But anyway. But the match was it was just a squash match. Actually, it was not really technically a squash match. You had Billy Gunn, Rockabilly. That's a stupid name, Rockabilly. What the fuck? Anyway, you had some of the offense on Ken Shamrock. You had Dan Severn basically putting over Ken Shamrock. Showcase what he can do in the ring. In the end, Shamrock made Billy Gunn tapping out. I think Ken Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame, in the WWE Hall of Fame. He doesn't get any credit. I know he's in the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, but not in the WWE Hall of Fame. He mastermind of making people tapping out. If before Ken Shamrock arrived to the WWF, if someone like put a submission hold on his opponent, basically the guy, basically you have to tell the referee to submit. But if right now, if everyone like in any company putting, basically slapping like the submission hold, you're tapping out. I think Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't really get any credit, for what he does. He's a pioneer of making wrestlers tapping out. So anyway, moving on to the second match of the show. The second match of the show. This is another match of the first round of the tag team championship tournament. Basically, it's not for the champ. Basically, the winner faced Austin and his tag team partner. Probably on, I think it was on it won't be at Canadian Stampede, probably on an episode of Monday Night Raw. Anyway, so we got LOD taking on the Godwins, Henry and Phileas. Phileas is the future Midian. Henry brings up this no accident, bringing up that match from Shotgun Saturday Night a few months back when basically the LOD got the victory. They hit their Doomsday Device, their tag team finisher. Unfortunately, I think it was Henry landed on his neck. That was a bit scary. Anyway, so he said this is not going to be square dance. We're going to do our own way from now on. The match was just meh. LOD got the victory, and then the Godwins basically a beat down. I think it was Hawk Animal chased the Godwins off, and then LOD got beaten down by the Hart Foundation. By the way, they are the opponents for the Hart Foundation at Canadian Stampede. And then we got this I'm going to talk about right now this confrontation of Paul Bearer and the Undertaker. I think they were talking about the New Nation, something like that. Undertaker says sometimes in life, and then Paul Bearer cuts him off. Says, "You shut up." He said, "Shut up. It's not about you. It's all about me." No, I don't think he said it's all about you. He says it's all about me. It's all about when I tell you to say what I tell you to say, when I say, and then Undertaker grabbed Paul Bearer by the throats, and then Vader trying to came to the rescue. Taker was about to choke them both, Paul Bearer and Vader, and then Paul Bearer says, "Remember the fire," and You know, he's about teasing that Barrow's going to reveal the secret, and he's going to reveal the secret anyway. But back then, you know, he can reveal the secret anytime. I think that is a compelling storyline back then. You know, it's just like you know, we'll get to more of that. You know, in the future Raw. So anyway, yeah, the next match we got Flash Funk. That is Too Cold Scorpio taking on Sabu with Paulie Dangerously, aka Paul Heyman on commentary. And Paul Heyman basically showcase and put over Sabu what he can do. You know, more. He's basically analyst guy. You know, because at that time WCW had Mike Tenay as the analyst guy. You don't get that in today's commentary in pro wrestling. You don't. You just get three guys, two like play-by-play guys and a color commentator. You know, wish they just do like a play-by-play guy, a color commentator, and the analyst guy. You know, that probably work. You know, but they've been overkill, not just in WWE, but right now in AEW. But I don't want to get into it. I'm talking about it briefly, but anyway, the match was good. I think the match was good. Flash Funk is very underrated. Doesn't get any respect. It was really fast paced. Not really fast paced. A bit fast paced. You had in Flash Funk's corner, you had Bill Alfonso. Throughout the whole match, it got really annoying. He was blowing the whistle. The whole time, you had Flash Funk confronting Bill Alfonso. So anyway, so the match ended in a bullshit finish. Basically you had Flash Funk, not Flash Funk. Basically, Sabu was about to put Flash Funk through a table. The referee just called for the bell. For now, it's Tim White, and he called for the bell anyway for a DQ. And in the end, Sabu put Flash Funk through a table. I think, and there were a lot of fans holding ECW signs, you know, because at the time ECW starting to make a name for themselves, you know, like, you know, because Nitro still being Raw in the Reigns war. Raw won't beat Nitro, but snap that undefeated streak the following year in 1998. You know, Nitro is still popular with the whole NWO stuff, and then the cruiserweights. Raw or the WWF side still gained some momentum with the whole Hart Foundation, and you could say in some degree the whole revealing the truth. Sorry, I'm stubborn. My apologies. Revealing the Undertaker's secret. But they're not quite there yet. They kind of peak up the following year with the whole McMahon-Austin rivalry. You know, and Austin was the champion. So, yes. So the match was ending in a bullshit finish. You know, I really wish they had a decisive winner. I think Sabu would probably beat Flash Funk anyway. He was not really doing anything in the day that half. He was with that crappy. It's basically what Brodus Clay will do. 14 years later, with the Funkadactyls, he got his own Flash Girl, whatever they're called. But anyway, so let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this is a the next match we got the British Bulldog taking on Mankind. Mankind came out he basically came out wearing Austin's t-shirts, and it has the sign says "Pick Me Austin" or something like that. And then he wants to be Austin's tag team partner because at this moment in time, Shawn Michaels briefly quit. I don't know if that was it creative difficulties or not pay dispute. I don't know. I don't know what the reason why Shawn left the company. Yeah, he came back, you know, at SummerSlam to referee the main event between Undertaker and Bret Hart, led up to the Hilton and the Generation X. Anyway, so basically Mankind says, you know, and dedicate this match to the toughest SOB, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Pick me. I'm gonna call. I think he's gonna appreciate calling him my friend. Yeah, he said, "Pick me, Steve." You know, basically trying to be Austin's fanboy. You know, Mankind was starting to be as a babyface. You know, I think like I said, that the ranged Mankind character was getting stale. You could tell he slowly become this comedy Mankind. It was cranked up a bit, or cranked up a lot. The following year in 1998, he returned to that. Actually, he won't be a little bit deranged. Actually, he will be a heel again in 1998. You know, set up the Hell in a Cell match at King of the Ring. But you can tell like there's the comedy side of Mankind. You can tell his body's breaking down, and the deranged Mankind gimmick is starting to get stale. Anyway, the match was okay. It was kind of meh to me. Like, some of these matches were meh to me. It wasn't really a must-see match. It was short, but yeah, Bulldog had most of the offense. I think, but yeah, in the end, the match ended in another DQ, back to back, because Flash Funk Sabu's match ended in a DQ. This match also ended in a DQ. Stands for disqualification, by the way. Yeah, Bulldog hit Mankind in the head with the chair. You don't see that in today's pro wrestling, not in WWE, because when Triple H hit Undertaker in the head with the chair, he got fined. He got in trouble backstage. But yeah, they stopped it because of concussions. Anyway, so yeah, Bulldog hit Mankind with the chair. Then Mankind got his heat back. Locking the mandible claw onto Bulldog, and that was it. So moving on to the triple threat match. So this is I don't know, it's the first triple threat match in WWE history, or I don't know, maybe it is. First of many triple threat matches over the years. You got Owen Hart defending the Intercontinental Championship against Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Goldust. I'll wrote it down. Yeah, Goldust. Before that, you had Owen Hart says why I'm defending two guys, a Canadian facing two Americans in United States soil, and then you had this segment with you had China, you had Helmsley with China, Goldust with Marlena. That's Terry Reynolds, by the way. Goldust confronts at the time the 40 figure at the time, Gorilla Monsoon. He wants Brian Pillman to be in his corner. So and also before that, you had this the dedicate of the history of the IC title, of future champions like Pat Patterson, Pedro Morales, to Ahmed Johnson, who become the first black Intercontinental champion. The next black champion will be I think it was Booker T, or I think it was Booker T. Yeah, I think it's Charlotte Benjamin or Booker T. Then Kofi Kingston. Then and I think the last black champion was the black Intercontinental champion was Apollo Crews. Anyway, so they brought in the Honky Tonk Man. They brought up the only wrestler they never brought up is Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, they brought in Bulldog. They brought in I think they brought in Bret Hart. I can't remember. Yeah, a package of guys holding the IC title. I think the only two guys, or three guys never show in that video package is Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, and Ricky Steamboat. They were former IC champions. IC stands for the Intercontinental Championship. Because I think at the time, Savage and Warrior left on very bad terms. Warrior left due to pay dispute, and Savage going to WCW. Steamboat I don't know why they didn't put Steamboat there, because he was the former IC champion. He won the title at WrestleMania 3. Because at the time most of the wrestlers like Hogan and Savage left on very bad terms. Who they left? Who they left out? The Mountie. He was Piper left on very bad terms. Yeah, he was at WCW, but anyway, so let's get back to this match. He also brought Owen and Helmsley and Goldust also hold the belts. Yeah, the match was I think it was a fun match. It wasn't this is technically match of the night by default. It wasn't an entertaining match. It got really boring. Basically you had Helmsley and Owen are heels, Goldust as a babyface. And by the way, Owen is Goldust rivalry at Canadian Stampede in that 10-man tag team match at that pay-per-view. So the match, you self-proclaimed Goldust thought he won this match, but Owens fought on the ropes. The match restarted. Lacking any interference for the change. You had China basically hit Goldust with a Hurricanrana, because they kind of because I think China, they say China's almost 6 feet tall, not turned 6 feet tall, but basically 6 feet tall. But they say almost 6 feet tall, but she's 5'10". She's a tall woman, China. I managed to do that. That was cool. In the end, Owen got the victory. I think he hit Helmsley with a Izagiri pinned Goldust for the victory, retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, I don't really call it the best triple threat matches in history. They've been better one over the years. I think the best one in WWE history has to be, for me personally, I say Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Benoit at WrestleMania 20. I don't know. It's been a lot over the years. You know, a lot of people complain about triple threat matches in today's WWE. You know, it's just the norm. I don't complain about it. I don't mind it. You know, sometimes yeah, it could be hit or miss sometimes. So, and then we got Bret Hart coming out talking shit to his opponents at Canadian Stampede. It's just him and Neidhart because Bulldog is not there. Just wrestle a match against Mankind, selling the Mandible Claw attack by Mankind. Pillman is not wrestling. He's not there. He was managing Owen in the Triple Threat match, and also Owen's not there because he's just wrestled in a match, you know, the Triple Threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. So, anyway, Bret Hart basically talking shit towards his opponents at Canadian Stampede. Towards the Legion of Doom, they think they're the greatest tag team in WWF history. Not we are the greatest tag team in WWF history. This is before Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the Dudleys, and other tag teams after this, you know, after 1997. Anyway, so yeah, he's referring to the old Hart Foundation from the 1980s, you know, as a tag team, Bret and Neidhart with Jimmy Hart right now, or well, back then he was at WCW. Anyway, so he said to Ken Shamrock he came from Ultimate Fairy, Ultimate Fairy Championship, basically taking shots at the UFC, because back then UFC it's not in the mainstream right now compared, you know, back then it was still small, trying to make a name for himself. That's fine with me. Goldust and Marlena. He said to Marlena that I got four, you know, basically, I got four sisters, could knock your socks off if you trying to hit the Bulldog. And he told Stone Cold Steve Austin, he says, yo, he's the scum of the earth. Just to, you know, we're gonna pound you like dust. You know, talking about that match at Canadian Stampede. And I think it, you know, and also he said, speaking of thieves, he kind of confronts Thomas Hitman Hearns. I looked him up. He's like a boxer. I think he was a boxer because MMA is not quite popular back then compared right now. So yeah, I think he's a boxer. I don't know. He said like you stole the Hitman name, and he wanted to come down to the ring. He called him the Chicken Man. I don't know that as a racist slur because it's black, you know, fried chicken. But anyway, so Hitman Hearns, you know, came to the ring, and trying to go after Bret. He hit Neidhart with some jabs. I think he hit him like in the ribs and chin area. Trying to go after Bret. You know, they were like USA. Basically going really get behind. Trying to really get behind Hitman Hearns because of, you know, because Bret was a heel, but wanted to knock out Bret, but he didn't. But anyway, so it was a good segment, you know. I don't know if it served a purpose, you know, but yeah, basically Bret just talking shit, you know. He said, yeah, Austin is like, we're gonna pound you like dust. It's called Justice, and the Justice is called the Hart Foundation. And yeah, they said like they think they're not gonna steal a victory. We get to Canadian Stampede on reviewing it next time. Anyway, not this week because I'm reviewing the Great American Bash. By the way, before we get to this is gonna be on Monday. You know, because I should have done this on a Friday. I was a bit lazy, man. You know, I'm trying to get back on track. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of this Raw review. So, and then we got the Nation about to say something, and then Savio Vega coming down. He basically said, I represent the Puerto Rican people. You didn't fire me, blah, blah, blah. He didn't really say blah, 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 but he's about to go after Farouk, but he got beaten down by D'Lo Brown and Karma. Farouk whipping Savio with a belt. And that's just basically setting up the Los Peruquas faction. Jesus Christ. Because at the time, yeah, at the time, Vince Russo is the head writer of the company. Um, anyway, so moving on to the second last match of the show, we got Scott Taylor, the future Scotty 2 Hottie, taking on Brian Christopher with Joey Lawler in his corner, future members of Too Cool in the Attitude Era. I don't think they bring up that, and by the way, Brian Christopher is the late son of Jerry the King Lawler because, he just passed away recently in 2018. The reason why I say late, I don't say he's great, but I'm just saying the late Brian Christopher, I'm supposed to say, but, anyway, the match was just, an impromptu match. I think this is Scott Taylor's WWF debut or something. I think he might wrestle at Shotgun Saturday Night. You're not gonna find Shotgun on the network. Sorry. You probably have to find it on YouTube or somewhere on some site. Anyway, so in the end, Brian Christopher hit the leg drop off the top rope onto Scotty 2 Hottie Scott Taylor, by the way. He'll become Scotty 2 Hottie, by the way, for the win. Then there's this mini segment with Vader and Mankind. Vader and Paul Bearer said we okay after Undertaker about to chokeslam both of them before Paul Bearer says remember the fire. Yeah. And then we got the main event. The main event, we got The Undertaker and Vader taking on the two members of the Nation of Domination. That is Farouk and D'Lo Brown. Because the last main event, it was Undertaker, Ahmed Johnson taking on Farouk and Karma. Yeah, by the way, Ahmed Johnson, during that Brian Christopher Scott Taylor match, you had a video, there was a cut screen to Ahmed Johnson watching the match, basically sitting down. He had to bring up, like he suffered a knee injury in that attack with the members of DOA. And like I said, this is the reason why he never got pushed. He never stayed healthy. Anyway, so they're just three members. They end up bringing The Rock into this group. That's in August. Anyway, so the match was just. I think this match sucks. By the way, it just sucked. By the way, you had members of DOA coming down. How this match never ended in a DQ. I think this match is another match of this tag team tournament that it was doing. There was a bracket who's in it in this tournament. Undertaker Vader's in it. And at the time, by the way, I said Vince Russo is the head writer of this. He is known for making tournaments in WWE, WCW, or WWF actually, WWF, WCW, and years later in TNA. So, yeah, briefly had Vader and Taker confronting, because Vader was a heel. He was not really a babyface. Basically, yeah, Taker. I think Taker and Vader joining the fighting the DOA members. Like I said, how this match not ending in a DQ beats me. But anyway, so in the end, Taker attacked Vader, hits his own tag team partner. I think Farouk pins Vader to win this match. The Nation move on to the semifinals of the tournament. And then afterwards, and then you had Taker hits Vader with the Tombstone Power Driver, left the ring. Basically trying to go after Paul Bearer, left the ring. Paul Bearer grabbed the mic and say he's going to reveal the secret. Undertaker did his eye bit, rolling his eyes in his back of his head, did the throat slash. Paul Bearer shout towards the cameraman, "Get out of my face," and that was it. So, overall, this episode of Raw was okay. That's it. It's just an okay episode of Raw. Wasn't terrible, but at the same time, wasn't great and must see. Yeah, it's right down the middle for me. The match of the night for me, the two matches in the good for me has to be the Flash Funk versus Sabu match instead of the whole DQ bit at the end of that match, and the Triple Threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Besides that, just okay. Wasn't anything in the bad. But it's just this build to Canadian Stampede was a bit lackluster. It was just lackluster, And also in that Brian Christopher Scott Taylor match, I forgot to talk about it. there is like this thing says light heavyweight division. So what light heavyweight division? Because the light heavyweight championship was crowned in November. Yeah, it was introduced in November. It was won by Taka Michinoku. But besides that, they never give a fuck about the light heavyweight division in the further years in the Attitude Era. But besides that, yeah, the build to this is a bit mediocre for me. But anyway, so hope you enjoyed my review of Monday Night Raw for the 23rd of June, 1997. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And this is Central Man officially sign out. Check you later. And we'll see you next time for the Go Home Show to Canadian Stampede episode of Monday Night Raw. At that time in 1997. So, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, folks.